Okay, so this time it's good morning, not good afternoon. We have scheduled this call for 9 a.m. Elena is back in Thailand, and we just want to um, share what's new. So this is not a quarterly call. It's actually only about 2 months since we had the last call. Um, and Fall equinox is still lying ahead. It should be around September 22nd. That's what we originally thought that we're going to have the next call. But there are actually two reasons that we have this a bit earlier. One is a lot of work has been done that needs to be shared unless we have the next time too much to show. And the other reason is that there are actually a couple of funding grant deadlines, usually at the end of September, which will keep me very busy the next few weeks. So I'm happy to not have a crew call in September. So we don't have fall equinox, but I picked another Chinese lunar solar holiday, which is limit of heat, which was the last 3 days actually. And today is full moon. That's also something special in our relation to nature. So I thought, just as a start, since the four of us, we know each other very well, a quick introduction about the limit of heat. It's one of those 24 solar terms now in this lunisolar calendar, and it really means literally the heat ends. And if you have ever lived in a subtropical or tropical climate, well, tropical, it never ends, but in a subtropical climate, it is very humid, and heat in summer can be very depressive. So in Shanghai, I remember there is the same word for humid and being depressed, because it's the same state. And I experience this every summer, that you get in a state of depression, physical depression, because of the humid heat. So stopping the heat is something relieving. And I felt I picked this time, even though it's not a major solar term, because it's quite interesting. We had the same experience this summer in Central Europe, and I think across Europe in many places, also in England. I have heard in the headlines we had tropical heat, and at least 20,000 people died due to the heat. And as a matter of fact, since 3 days, it's cooler now.
Yeah.
Temperatures have fallen about 10 degrees. And you see here also that the timing is always around August 22nd. And this solar term, it's the 14th, is between start of autumn, which we celebrated on August 6th, Li Qiu, and the white dew, Bai Shuang. And the other thing that I noticed, about our mindful observation of nature, it was 2 days ago that the first time I got up in the morning, and there was a little fog above the fields. So this shift when it's not anymore warm during the night, and then you have the fog on the fields, which is just evaporating air from the hot soil. No. So this is another quite important observation. Yeah, the Chinese were very precise about this. The sun position is, it reaches a celestial longitude of 150 degrees in the tropical zodiac. So it's really an astronomical definition. And there is this climate shift. So especially in the north and central China, you have a drop in temperatures. And interestingly, we are in a very similar situation actually here in the moderate climate zone of Europe. Yeah, and what I don't have here on the slide, but I guess Elena might be interested, maybe also you, Sarah. There is also a change in diet. So limit of heat in Chinese traditional culture means that you shift from warm or hot food to cold food. Sorry, the other way around. No, so you would eat less kind of cucumbers that cool the body, and maybe you start again to eat more meat and food that is associated with yang, not with yin. Yeah, so that's a bit of a connection in the start. We continue now with the quiz. Adri.
Thank you, Knut. As we always do, for anyone who may be watching this for the first time, we always present a small quiz during our crew calls to break the ice a little bit. And the format is basically that we will ask a couple of questions. You may start thinking about those answers, and at the end of the crew call, we will reveal those answers and put a little bit of context to them. So at the end in these crew calls, we always learn something new about maybe an animal species or plant species or any other thing related to nature or to the environment.
And maybe if I may add this here to make it also interactive, whether you watch this recording on YouTube or anywhere else, you can definitely drop us a note about the quiz.
Exactly.
Should I?
So, yes. For today, we have this picture of this very, very small animal. So now the two questions are, do you recognize the animal in the picture? And what kind of pests are you familiar with? So you already have like small hint. In this case, try to guess. But we admit that it's not super easy one. But we will reveal at the end of the crew call what this animal is and what impact they can have in our societies, for example. Yes. So you can already start thinking, and at the end you will check if you were right or not, or maybe it was something new for you as well.
I think it's Kafka's fly.
Could be. Looks like a fly, but maybe it's something more obscure. Who knows?
All right. Okay, good. So this is going to be interesting. This will accompany us definitely a little bit more. Thank you, Adri. And now we hand over to Sarah.
Yes. Should I share my screen or?
Yeah, of course, you can just share. So maybe while Sarah prepares, quick intro. We have developed in the last few months an ecoregion mentor training. Part of this training is that the participants develop a best practice about their home country and analyze the ecoregions which they find there. And Sarah is going to introduce the latest two new best practices.
Yeah. Now you should see my screen. Okay. Now here you see the best practices we have created. This is actually mine. Best practices that we have created for our ecoregion, our country's ecoregion and ecoregions, actually. Yeah. So we have given their specific informations about our ecoregion. Actually, this is the whole Caucasus, which my country is. This is a little small country here, but the huge, you can see the ecoregion here is Caucasus region, not ecoregion. So this is a topographical map of Caucasus, and as you can see, there is these mountains here. I don't know if you can see or not. I'm pointing out, but yeah. And these green areas actually not that green. These are called, especially for Azerbaijani shrub deserts and steppe, which is very dry. It's like a literal desert. And these brownish colored parts of the area is actually, this is the bigger Caucasus, and this is the Lesser Caucasus, which
The greater and the
lesser. Greater and lesser. Yeah, and it takes until the Black Sea, you can see, and part of the Turkey also is part of Caucasus. Yep.
Can you maybe just as an overview explain
yes,
what was the idea, the learning aim of this activity?
Yeah, this is the main learning aim is actually teaching either our people, like from my country, or students, or who wants to learn, to teach the basic ecoregion to them actually. Yeah. So as you can see, we have prepared lessons here for the facilitators to teach easily, to take note actually from here and teach easily. And we have handed them, you can see here, going down, the work and solution sheets, each language in English and Azerbaijani. Actually, I didn't put German because I don't think in my country anybody will understand German. So I put English and Azerbaijani here. So I can show you also Spanish, like region of Spain. Yeah, you can actually see the same one, and I will show you the lessons here, the questions. Yeah, this is an absolute guide for the ecoregion, and you can see the solution and worksheets here as well, in German, English, and Espanol.
So maybe to just summarize this once more, the idea behind this is that we get more familiar with the concept of bioregional identities, and especially in an educational setting, there is a best practice for teachers to share with their students that there is more than a national identity, right?
Yes.
So this is the background, and we have this now not only for the Balkans, for the former Soviet Union, but also for Azerbaijan, Austria, and Spain. So this is ready to use now. Maybe, Sarah, do you just want to share a little bit, because I think this was the aha or the interesting part for you. How was the process of preparing such a best practice for you as being from Azerbaijan, from the Caucasus area? Was it enlightening? What was the aha moment in doing such an exercise?
Well, of course, as an Azerbaijani, I have already known many informations about my country. But however, when I get into deep down about the ecoregions itself, because that's not my specialty, and this is completely new for me, I have learned lots of things about my country which I've never heard of. And yeah, during the research, I actually recognized that in my country, we have lots of different species, different biodiversity, different ecoregions, which I've never knew the names of these ecoregions. Yeah, so it was enlightening, of course. I've learned lots of things about my country.
And I think we also realized that similar to the Balkans, what actually created the national border is very much related to this in and out group thinking amongst human beings. And the borders are actually drawn through religious borders. Now you have Orthodox, what did we say? Muslim and Christian communities, which have identified themselves in nation states, like we have the same process also in the Balkans. And in this identification process, there were conflicts, quite a lot of conflicts, but actually they share the same habitat now.
Yep.
This is the ecoregions of the Caucasus. So again, I think ecoregion kind of awareness could really contribute to a peaceful and more sustainable use of resources wherever we live.
That's true.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I think that especially the worksheets and the solution sheets are interesting material for schools to use. And maybe actually your sister's going to use it now because she's
Definitely.
a geography teacher. I'm actually looking forward to have some feedback here. Okay, so then the next thing is actually what's new. So quick overview. We have removed one new feature from the original list, but we're gonna go today through dedicated a search page, returning to an unfinished quest, yeah, and many other things. So I'm handing over to Elena, and we're all looking forward to hear what we can do, in the ARC and what is new.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so the first feature that we want to talk about is the new search page. So to find this new search page, here at the top nav, you have this magnifying glass icon. So if you click on it, you go to this new search page that we created because we have a lot of content in the ARC and it's not so easy sometimes to find something specifically unless you know exactly what it is. So I'm going to search, for instance, green. And I get results for different categories. I can also choose which categories I want to see, but first we want to see all of them. So like first people, so ARC users who have green in their username or in their name. You can also search for quests. And again, have that word in the description or somewhere in the title. Communities, same thing. Commons, regions, also in activities and best practices. Every category shows the content in the format that we use in the related category page in the ARC, right? And then also species. So the species in the ARC that have green in the name or description and POIs or specimen. And again, you can also I only want to see people, so I can filter. So this just helps you to find content in the ARC because again, we have a lot of content, so it's useful. So next is the multiplier playing model. So now if you're playing a quest, you have a new functionality to find in case you started to play the quest and something happens and you didn't finish, you were playing a quest with your class and you didn't finish, you can go back easily now. So I'm gonna join this quest. Sorry. Oops. Maybe because I was using it before, so it was still in the session. I'm gonna try again. Okay, I join as multiplier. Continue. Now I'm part of the quest as multiplier, and if you notice here at the top nav bar, above my user picture, there's this little orange play icon that tells you that something happened. No? So it happens that I am joined a quest. So in this new user menu item, playing, if you click on it, you get this model that tells you which quests you're playing, and you can also leave in case you don't want to finish the quest for whatever reason and you don't want to have this notification anymore. You can just leave from there. I'm gonna leave, and boom, I left the quest, and also the item, the playing model is gone from the user menu. So this is also useful. Is for instance, you're playing a quest with your class, and another user added you to the quest, but you don't have the link to the quest. You want to check it out in your phone, but you don't know. Before you would need to know how to find the quest. Go to the community page or the commons page. Now you're immediately and visibly notified that hey, you're playing this quest. So you can always come back to the quest or leave it. So next feature is adding a member to a community. So before if a community mentor or facilitator or a school teacher wanted to add students to the school, to the class, or to a community, those people, the students or who wanted to join, they needed to join themselves, and then the facilitator would like approve the joint request. So the joint request page here, and approve or deny it. But it was not possible for the facilitator to just add the people themselves. So now we have this button here, add member. This is the community like dashboard page where you can manage the members. You can search for any ARC user. I'm gonna add my second account, and you can choose what role you want them to have. So a student or a members or facilitator or community mentor. I'm gonna add myself as community mentor actually. And this is also available in the school dashboard. The button is here, add member. It's the same functionality basically. So you can add, in this case, like student or mentor because this is a class, but it's basically the same. Adding a ARC user to the community. So if you add, you can also add myself here. The student, and then I'm here. And also this is also available from the students tab. Here you can also use the add member functionality. And I'm going to remove myself. Okay, so this makes easier for community facilitators, mentors, teachers to manage like the members of the community, to prepare if you have an activity, you want to make sure that everyone is already joined the community, you can just add them. Next one. Oh, also I forgot to mention that you can also see, like in the class dashboard, you can also see the pictures and the names of the students in an easier way. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to school. Community dashboard. Here, so before, like we didn't have the student pictures, we have it now. And in some cases, if the student like managed without to join without entering their last name, surname, this was like empty. So now we make sure that at least there will be the username, it will not be empty, and the teacher will be able to see the picture of the student, the community member. So next, yeah, so okay. For activities too, in school activities, a class activity, before, once you had created an activity in a class, you could not change the community associated with the event because it was just like, okay, it's assigned to this school and that's it, this class. But we realized that in some cases it can be useful to be able to change the class or the school. So this is an event in a class. So you can change the community, and here you will see your school and the other classes in your school instead of all the communities in ARC, which would be overwhelming. So in case you want to reuse an activity for another class, like you can duplicate it and then edit the community. So you have this extra flexibility. So next is translation tools. We have this special page for administrators and translators that has some like advanced translation tools to filter content, because from here, these users, they can edit all the user-generated content in the ARC to translate it to any target language. You select the target language here, and we added some extra filters to make their work easier. So they can select the activity type they want to translate, like quest, activities, best practices, commons, communities, correlation, species or specimens. They can filter by the status of the translation. Is it approved? Is it untranslated? And they can also search by text, enter a word here and use the search button. And that filters like the user-generated content for translation. So for all of this, you can create, as we showed in the previous Q call, we are using DeepL.com to generate translations automatically to make the work for translators easier. For instance, I'm going to generate this one. It's generating now. And I got, because I selected Spanish, I got automatically the Spanish translation of this text, right? So yeah, but now we added these tools to make it easier, and also we added for admins translators management system, so they can easily give permission to ARC users to use this special page where they have access to all the user-generated content in the ARC. And of course, as usual, as we presented in the last call, like mentors, facilitators, they can translate automatically with this tool the content of their the content that they have created, the content related to their community, directly from where it makes sense. So if they're editing a quest, there's the translation button there. But I wanted to show this like a special page translations where we have these new filters to make the work of translators easier. And yeah.
Can you show again how to access this page? Because I'm actually seeing it also the first time.
Okay, so if you have access to this page, you will have it here on the user menu, translations.
Ah, okay.
So if you're an admin or you're a translator, like Paul right now, those people have this user menu translations link that takes you to the special page where you can see we have 13,000.
This is super.
A lot of content.
This is super important because we, I think we have scheduled for September, early September, a translators call. Then we can really review this and invite specifically all people that are currently translators. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and also we got a request or if you like open the ARC page for the first time without having logged in, and your browser is configured in any language of like your preference, like Spanish, or the ARC will automatically show in Spanish. Like, and then after, if you log in and you change your language preference, of course, the ARC remembers what language you want the ARC to be shown. But we have this new like automatic browser language detection system now. Okay, so now next is the facilitate request feature. So this is useful in case you want to like play a quest like offline, and later, if you play it offline, then later how would you like award the students the IP points and the bioregional identity, like the species specimen. So, and I mean, you can also use it in other ways, but basically it allows you to turn a quest into an activity in your community. You can, so to do it, this is like a quest page, and here we have this facilitate button. When you click on it, you select what community you want to create the activity in. I'm going to use this one. And you select any date. I'm going to give a date in the past so that I can award the IPs. And you just create activity. This will automatically copy all the relevant content from the request into a new activity. So next, as you see, you already have the title, the data I selected, the location, the description, everything. And here you see that we have all the species and all the specimens or POIs of the quest already selected. Click next. We also changed the participant equipment and the facilitators equipment for best practices. Before, this was a list. So you, for every item, like, I don't know, notebook, pen, pencils, whatever, you had to add them one by one, like click on new one, enter the text, save. And so we have changes to like a free text area, so you can just write text here freely, translate it, and of course we have like preserved the content that we already had. We have converted the previous lists into like text for the already existing activities. Anyway, so this gives you more flexibility and freedom when you want to enter this participant equipment information, and also facilitators equipment for best practice. Okay, so we click on next, and we already have the activity created. And yeah, so from that activity, you will be able to like award the the IP points and the specimens and species for the students that were like booked, so like they participated in the activity. And yeah, so this is very useful in order to like have more flexibility in how to use quests instead of only playing the quest online with the app.
Where is the quest that you have created now? So, I mean, just to the background, while you kind of identify this, the idea here behind this is that when we develop a quest now, we have basically two age groups. We have the age group of people who can play a quest digitally themselves. No, they use their own kind of digital devices, and they go outdoors in teams, and they get whatever they observe and whatever answers they answer, they get it automatically awarded through playing the quest. But then there is the other format for the age group of children up till age 12, where basically the teacher uses the designed quest on a digital device as a cheat sheet now, and I guide a group of children outdoors, so they actually play the quest offline. They might have a printed quiz. The teacher might ask questions on site with the help of the cheat sheet now. But then afterwards, since they don't play the quest digitally, you still want to award them species, observed points of interest. And this is why we decided to facilitate a quest. I have not yet used the functionality. So for me, this is also new, but I would really like to try. Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah. Yeah, there seems to be some kind of issue because I cannot find it here on the draft or published, but yeah, this should be here. But yeah, check it out. Maybe we can move on.
Okay, yeah, let's move on.
So the next item is the Safe Quest design collaboration. So before, like, because creating and editing a quest is oftentimes like a group activity, let's say, like maybe students in a class participate in editing different stops or the same stop. So the issue that we had is that if two people are editing the same quest stop at the same time, they would override each other. Like the last person who clicked on save would override the work of the other people. So we wanted to make a system to make like collaboration, no, in group safe. So this is a quest dashboard. I am now going to, from another browser, with another user, open and edit the stop. And now you see here, because another user is editing this stop, I can see a log and also the avatar and the username of the person who's editing that quest. And I cannot edit this stop until the other person releases, or either saves or cancels. And because I am an admin user, I am also able to do an extra thing that regular users cannot do, that we added because it could happen that maybe someone edits a stop and just forget the browser open and for whatever time, no? And then nobody can edit that stop in the meantime. So we added the functionality for admins to overcome the lock, like overtake the edit function, just to release in case this happens sometimes. So because I'm an admin, when I click here, I do see this like alert that tells me that another user is editing, and I have the option to take over. And if I take over, I am the one editing the quest stop now. So yeah, basically you can see my browser is not now. Okay.
Yes.
You can also see the same functionality from the edit quest page. And again, if I edit it,
So
Sorry.
the main advantage of this functionality is now that if a teacher, for example, gives an assignment to a class that they should design a quest together, then you could have like 1 or 2 students for a mapping. They basically map a point of interest, then create questions to it, and they can simultaneously within the same lesson or class, they can design a question and edit the question, and then there could be the goal set at the end of this lesson. Everybody needs to have finished 1 stop, and then a quest is ready to go. It saves a lot of time. It doesn't make it necessary to work consecutively, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is like the edit quest form, general form page. And here you can see the same. No, the log and the username and avatar, or yeah, little text that tells you that this stop is being edited by another user.
Okay.
Okay. So next one is course session management improvement. So when you were, I'm going to this and this. When you're like creating a new activity before a new course can have sessions. And before, when you added new course sessions, you basically needed to start from scratch and like enter all the information for the session again. And usually, like a good part of the information can be like reused across between sessions, right? So we added 2 functionalities to make this easier for users. So the first one is like with learning paths. Usually, all the sessions will like share the same learning paths. So if that's the case, you can add it here, choose 1 learning path, and I give it like, I don't know, 5 impact points. And then once I have course sessions, I will be able to use this apply to all sessions, so that I don't need to add the learning path 1 by 1. So now I'm creating a new course session, and we already have some like useful pre-fills, like session 1. You can of course change the title if you don't like session 1. You just enter the description. You already have the date. You have already the learning path that I selected, the location. So you have all this useful pre-filled information to make creating course sessions faster and easier.
So maybe I also summarize here, why do we have this? Because we have different course formats. Just think of you know, the course on ecological psychology. If you create such a course with 12 sessions, in the past it was actually necessary to fill every session, you know? And now it's basically, you have a default ticket, you have a default location. It's basically really kind of create, and it's almost done. So it takes a lot of time for facilitators to use formats from the best practice. And especially if you have also repeating formats, just imagine you meet always in the same location for a certain format. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Next one is easier question creation. So when you're creating a quest, like imagine you want to reuse a POI, like a stop that you have already used in a previous quest. So that specimen already, like, you created some questions for the specimen, and probably you want to reuse them when you are like reusing that POI in another quest. So we created a function to like pre-fill like previously used questions for a stop. So I'm going to a bit slow. Okay. So I'm going to add the specimen, for instance. So it's taking a bit. Okay. Select Ahoi. Well, it changed. Okay, I wanted Ahoi, not mouse cafe. It's like my computer is a bit slow right now. Okay.
Can you come again? What are we looking at now?
So we are creating a new quest, and I want to use a POI, a specimen, a stop, and I know that I know can know or not know it, but that this stop already, we have defined some questions for this stop in the past because we have quests that use this stop, right? So I'm creating a new quest, and instead of having to add the same questions again, they are already automatically pre-filled. You can, of course, change them, but it has detected. Yeah.
You actually already did that. I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it saves you time when you are creating a new quest using a stop. They already had questions in the past.
Yeah. So maybe to give context, I think it's always interesting in the development process where those requests come from. It was actually in the Bad Radkersburg project where we basically supported twice, but then for the event in May, there was the lead teacher and she designed the quest in a different way. So she reused what we already had mapped, but then she created instead of 2 quests, 6. Yeah, because she wanted to distribute the students. She had 200 students on one day and she wanted to distribute them. And so she said, well, she had to basically create everything again, no? For those 6 quests. And then we realized, okay, it makes actually sense if you have a certain mapping, a concrete point of interest with some questions that you don't have to stitch it together from scratch, but you actually have it already there in the database. You can, of course, overwrite it, but you have already the questions that somebody else thought about in this location. You have them already there. So I was not aware that you have actually completed and even deployed this functionality. We still need to kind of try it. Brilliant, brilliant. Again, I think it saves a lot of time. Yeah, if you really have a larger amount of people in a smaller area and you want to guide them maybe through similar locations, but you don't want them to meet in the same location, no? So you need to shuffle basically, let's say 12 stops in a different order, and you want to reuse what has been already created. Yeah, this is it's a very interesting functionality. Thank you for this.
Okay. So next one is is the lean discourse integration. So we have made some changes to discourse to make your experience better. So to begin with, we have consolidated. We had before a number of categories and chats, and now we have mainly 2. For when it comes to like ship crew is what used to be the general and support chat. So like for every ARC user, everyone has access to this ship crew category and chat. So if you have any questions, if you need support or anything, just contact us in this chat, ship crew. Also for us developers and like translators, interns, volunteers, we also have shipyard, which is like an internal category and chat. And we have also made the commons and ecoregions open to every ARC user. So before you could only access them, like your commons and your ecoregion, which your user belongs to. But now we have opened it to all ARC users. So if you want to open the chat for a commons or an ecoregion, you can just do it from the ARC app. And for communities, we still have like a guarded system. So you need to belong to a community, to a school, a class, or community in order to access the category and chat of the communities. So we can basically have simplified, and we are working on a behind the scenes number of improvements when it comes to the synchronization between ARC and Discourse. Yes. And finally, I wanted to also show that now when you create an ecoregion, when you add it, we have a new system that automatically pre-fills all the information like the bioregion, the logo, which is like the main species of the ecoregion, the cover picture, and the description. All this information comes from oneair.org. You can, of course, edit everything. And I'm going to submit this for review to show you also like the review functionality. We'll update. Okay, here it is. So I can also like delete it or approve it. I also got a notification. should be coming here about the new ecoregion. And yeah, I'm going to delete it. I'm gonna try this right now.
Okay, this is
So
what
admins, yeah, can review ecoregions and get notified on them and get all the information pre-filled, so it makes it faster and easier to create an ecoregion.
All right. Is it also possible? So this is brilliant. It means that closer or deeper integration with One Earth and Resolve, the two nonprofits that basically host the ecoregion data. But is it here in this overview also possible that we can delete like duplicates? Because you see, this Italian sclerophyllus forest has been created a second time by somebody. So I would like to be able to notify that person that this has already been created. Please join.
Okay, so I can delete
the existing one, and we don't have this functionality, no? Like it cannot be deleted once it has been created.
No, but this one is under review, so we can delete this one. But yeah, we don't have the functionality yet to delete approved ecoregions. Yeah, we can add that in the future.
But if I click under this on this Italian sclerophyllus on this ecoregion, I see probably who has created it now.
So it will be the first mentor, but if there are more mentors, no. You cannot, in an obvious way, see who created it. No. If there are more than one mentor, I mean, probably
there are three.
in this case.
So, but the other one?
The other one, the other ecoregion?
Yeah. I mean, since I'm a mentor in that ecoregion as well, I could add the person that has created this second ecoregion, this one, the one that is under review. Shana. So I could add Shana to the existing one, no? And then you delete this, all right? You delete it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then I think we also know how to handle this. It's of course, especially with ecoregions, we should even have a default function that you cannot create an existing ecoregion. Maybe this is something that we need to kind of consider here.
Yeah.
Not possible to create existing ecoregion, but instead you get a notification, please join the existing ecoregion and get in touch with the mentors, no?
Yeah.
All right, good. Then I think we are good. Is there anything else that you have to show? No, that's it?
No, that's it.
Yeah, I think that's quite a lot. And to just wrap it up, a lot of it is, of course, related to making the ARC work better for classes and schools in this context of facilitating outdoor quests and larger groups of students, designing the quests, showing progress. And we tried to work on the feedback that we received in the last few months when you actually facilitate the quests, like having to leave a quest or rejoining or changing the mobile phone, or facilitating actually as a teacher for students that played offline. So all this is part of this crew call. Yeah. I think that's good. So we will be working on quite a few other things, but I think before we talk about that, Adri, you want to continue?
Yes, let's solve the quiz. I'm gonna share my screen now. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes? Perfect. Okay, so we come back to the quiz that we introduced at the beginning, and now we're gonna solve those answers, and the answers to those questions. That was if you could recognize the organism in the picture that we have, and that if you know some sort of pests. But first, before we reveal the identity of our mysterious friend today, let's talk a little bit about insects, because our protagonist today is an insect, indeed. Insects are a group located in the phylum called Arthropoda. If you look at the big tree of life from National Geographic that we have at the on the left, if you look at the right on top, the top right corner, let's say, we have there the phylum Arthropoda with more than 1,005,500,000 species. And then on the other graph, we have close-up to this phylum, where we can see where insects are located. In case somebody is not very familiar with insects, they are animals with bodies split in three parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. They also have 6 legs and a hard exoskeleton instead of bones. So, what is a pest, actually? Well, some insects can be considered pests. A pest is a living organism, such as an animal, plant, or a microbe that harms human health, damages crops, destroys property, or disrupts natural ecosystems. Some pests can also be considered parasites if they feed on a host. However, not all parasites are considered pests. Now, I have a question for you. One of the first questions that we had, do you know any sort of pests, any examples that you could mention here?
Well, I see the termite here in the picture now.
Exactly.
So I think related to the ants, and mostly kind of in tropical areas at home. And they can, what can they do? They can kind of devour large amounts of wood within a very small time. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, in the case of the termites, they damage human property or structures, so they cause this sort of economical damage.
And of course, I mean ticks, no?
As well, exactly.
Which is very in Central Europe a really issue now. They can infect you with diseases.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you have a lot of ticks, I mean, for hedgehogs, smaller animals, if they are covered by, like, I don't know, dozens of ticks, then it can be also life-threatening.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, we have a lot of different examples of pests depending on if they affect the health, for example, as the ticks or the cockroaches, or sometimes if they affect the crops, for example, some caterpillars or beetles that feed on leaves from the crops or from the potatoes or the cucumbers. Or if they affect structures, as the termites that we mentioned here, but also the carpenter ants, for example. Yeah, definitely a lot of examples. Okay, so now we reveal our friend today, which is an insect that is considered a pest, and it's called Grape Phylloxera. You also have now a small hint of the plant that it affects. Grape Phylloxera is a tiny insect belonging to the order Hemiptera, the same as their close relatives, the aphids. This species in particular is originally native to Eastern North America. This insect feeds on grapevines, and it causes one of the biggest agricultural disasters in European history. Phylloxera is particularly destructive because it attacks grapevine roots. It feeds on them and causes characteristic swellings and wounds. Those wounds can become infected, eventually weakening the plant and even killing it. The wild North American grape species have evolved with this Phylloxera and thus are usually pretty resistant. But the European grape ones, however, they are highly susceptible to this insect, and that's where the problem comes. In the 90s, in the mid 19th century, let's say 1860s, Phylloxera was accidentally brought to Europe, probably, very likely, due to the movement of grapevines. So what happened? Well, we are going to now post an example of the impact that this insect can have on human activities using the case, let's say, of the Austrian town of Mödling, where we have recently been working on a project and we have been in touch with this issue that really affected this town. So Phylloxera was first detected in Austria in 1872 in a town called Klosterneuburg, and from there it spread to the rest of the wine-growing regions, let's say. In Mödling, the infestation arrived towards the end of the 19th century, and by around 1900, almost all of Mödling's vineyards were affected, with the exception of one called Schlossingen. But nevertheless, the consequences were super dramatic for Mödling. First of all, the European grapevines were so severely damaged that most of them eventually died. Also, many landlords and people who were making their living from these grapevines, they were forced to sell their vineyards, and sometimes under even considerable economic pressure. However, Mödling also established a nursery where these Phylloxera resistant American roots could be used, let's say, could be cultivated, and then the European grape varieties could be grafted onto these ones, so they could have some sort of resilient form for these Phylloxera. But nevertheless, abandoned or cheaply sold vineyards increasingly became building land in Mödling, and this led to the expansion of Mödling's residential areas and the emergence of what is now the city's villa districts, very famous there in Mödling. So all of this was basically part of an event called the Great European Grape Crisis. And yeah, basically that's a super interesting example of how such a small, tiny animal, a small, tiny insect can have a really, really big impact on human activities in this case. So that's all about the Phylloxera.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for presenting this. Maybe a few things that we should kind of clarify, just an explanation. It's a very complex ecological connection, no? How a little tiny organism has such an impact that the cityscape is being changed now, that agricultural land needs to be sold off cheaply because of an economic crisis. I mean, it's like a plague of locusts, now that you know from the Bible, or a severe drought for many years that makes people leave and sell off land. It has a tremendous impact. And I mean, the German word for this insect, I know it very well, but I was not aware that it was actually so impactful. But everybody knows it. Everybody knows it around here. We just don't know anymore what was really the economic consequence. And it's a sort of really a cycle, because on the one hand, you have in that period of the 19th century, I read this book about invasion biology. You had the tendency that a lot of people all over the world that were wealthy, they wanted to diversify nature. They wanted to bring everything that grew anywhere back home to their countries. They were not watching local biodiversity or protecting local plant species. They just tried what would grow. And I think part of this was also, okay, let's bring over some American grape roots and plant them over here. And then it was actually us now introducing this parasite or this pest. But such a tiny organism can have then a tremendous effect within a town, and this is what happened here. Maybe also from gardening and biology, do you know what grafting means actually?
Grafting.
Yeah, because Adri explained that the way this entire industry was saved in the end, I mean, they had to sell off a lot of land. Probably a lot of smaller farmers really lost their property and their livelihoods, and they had to move into different industries. But the larger farmers, they found a way to survive. And you mentioned it. It's a gardening technique, that you graft an existing grape or an existing fruit on top of another tree or of another plant. Yeah? This is an interesting mechanism. So you had a grape Phylloxera resistant North American grape root that was planted then in Mödling, and obviously in all of Central Europe or all of Europe, we have North American grapevines, but they grafted European grapes on top. So you have now this actually a plant hybrid, no? Yes. And I guess the original European grapes, they don't exist anymore, no? Because they have been mostly extinguished. So this is also quite an interesting technique, and it also shows human creativity now to overcome such a crisis. Yeah, good. I think that's. Thank you for the presentation, Adri. I think a very interesting observation. For us in this project, there was then also a second thing that came as a consequence, because this land was so cheaply available, and Vienna at that point was a completely overcrowded city. Already more than 100 years ago, it was larger than it is now in terms of population. So wealthy people from Vienna actually used this cheap land in a very splendid location just next to the Viennese forests, and they built their kind of summer residences. So now you have very beautiful buildings, some of them Fin de Siècle, some of them Bauhaus, in different architectural styles, and not anymore the vineyards. Yeah. Okay. Good. So this is the content of our call.
Yes, one thing I would like to quickly share, because before when I was showing the facilitated quest functionality, I could not find the activity. It was just because I had used a past date. So this was the quest. Can you see my screen? This was the quest that I facilitated. And the issue was simply that in the list below, I was filtering by upcoming, and I had chosen a past date. So here it is, the activity created from the quest. So it has all the information from the quest. And if you go into the dashboard, you have the students in this, the members of this community already, like you can check them in, like you can award the impact points, and you can award all the bioregional identity that was imported from the quest, so all the species and specimens. So yeah, that's the activity facilitated from the quest.
All right. Yeah, so we'll try this on the ground in a class setting with a quest. We can do this in the next few days, and then we'll give you feedback. Yeah, thank you for showing this. It is, like I said, a really important functionality if you want to track in the younger age group, like elementary and lower secondary, your learning progress outdoors. Good, yeah. Thank you. I don't know if amongst us there is anything to say. Otherwise, I think I can stop the recording. I just want to share is that our next call will be around frost descent, I think. We still have to kind of work on a couple of features that are especially important for schools. And I hope that we can share this as soon as possible. Yeah, that's it. Good. Then I thank everybody for watching. We'll put this online with timestamps so that you can watch all the new functionalities as you please. Just press the timestamp. Okay.